So guys, welcome. My name is Lina. I'm working here as a moderator and editor for Rock Antenne. And nice to see you here in personal after this fucking pandemic.
Yep.
So very nice.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
You're back. So the last years, they were crazy in your life, right?
Yeah.
So I thought I never will be here, Def Havana again.
Yeah.
Now you're staying in front of me. So nice. You will have a new album next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your new album is very, very dark. I mean,
Yeah.
so, but the sound is very positive.
Yeah,
so when I
exactly.
hear that a few times, it was like, oh, okay, dark topics, but a very, very nice
definitely.
and positive sound. So you took 3 weeks, right? Only for writing?
Yeah,
It
maybe
was-
a bit longer.
But
like,
it was like 3 or 4 weeks, I think. Yeah, it was really short.
so quick. I don't know how or why.
But it's crazy because before that time you had a long break,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like for 1 year, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
didn't talk to
basically.
each other, right?
Yes,
Yep.
that's true.
Okay, that's so crazy. And then you go back into the studio, and then you're talking to each other. And
Yeah.
how can I explain it for my?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to explain?
Yeah, sure. Well, we had basically decided to stop being a band before the pandemic really kicked off in this part of the world, and with that, people we owed people money basically, and so we had some shows booked in before
Like
the pandemic.
merch company and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that we were gonna play to pay off things, and so the pandemic happened, and we didn't have to think about that for a little bit because obviously there were just bigger things going on, and for whatever reason, James and I fell out of contact for about a year, really, and then at the start of last year, when things started opening up a bit more, we then had to be like, okay, right, so how do we pay these things off or whatever? It would be great if we could put a song out to go out on, and I'd just written this song that I thought was perfect because it was kind of all about how I was feeling and trying to work out what had gone wrong really with us as a band and everything. And that song ended up being track 2 that's on our record, called 19 Dreams. And James and I just got into the studio to record that, and that went really well. Then a few days after that, James sent over a song which ended up being the song Nevermind on the record. And then just really quickly we had 12 songs together, and it was like, oh right, so I guess we're a band again now.
Yeah, it was really weird. In the space of 2 months, we went from not talking to each other and not being in a band together to having a full album written and deciding we wanted to keep being a band. It was pretty strange.
Yeah, but you had no expectations, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
it happens spontaneously.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
And before you lost your band colleagues, so now you're alone.
Yep.
Two brothers, and the time before it was very hard for you, right? The alcohol stuff and the dark stuff, and there happened so many negative things. So how did you deal it in that times? Because you had the very pop album before, and you did so many headliner tour, like the big show in London in the Academy.
Yeah.
So how did you deal it? That was in that time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It was. Well, that pop album was really weird. We didn't really believe in the songs when we released it.
You didn't feel it, right?
No, we didn't feel it at all. That's exactly it. We were just
But you wrote it, so
Yeah,
We wrote it, yeah.
And it helped us, definitely helped us grow a bit more, play to more people over here as well. But it felt quite empty for us, I think.
Yeah, it was very it was just kind of soulless. It didn't come from here really. It came from I don't know. It was just a bit wrong. So that kind of started the downfall off because we went into a touring schedule for an album that we don't even really believe in that much. So it was it just kind of I just felt like a fraud. I felt fake the whole time, and I never could really back it. So to deal with that, I just started drinking more and I just didn't really care anymore. I was just kind of just going through. So yeah, I honestly think that album was what led to the end of the band before we continued again. But it was weird. It was hard to deal with. The pandemic was weird for me because I was I don't know. I was drinking a lot in the first bit and then tried to be sober in the second bit and then didn't be. It was up and down, and it was difficult for everyone, but I don't know. It was very just strange time.
Yeah, normally it's you played in the big London Academy, so many people saw you, and that's normally the dream of everyone, every band. So it's crazy that you feel so wrong.
Yeah.
And you talked about, so I read about your new album, The Present is a Foreign Land, that it's the best album what you ever wrote.
Yeah, I think so.
So now you're feeling well with your new songs.
Yeah.
So everything on this album is from the last 2 years.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Apart from the song Going Clear, which is from like 3 or 4 years ago, but everything else is a new song, yeah.
Okay, and you wrote it together as a couple, so a brother couple.
Yeah, so some songs I wrote, some songs he wrote, and then some songs we wrote completely together. So it was a mixture.
But you said that you felt uncomfortable with the pop hits. So,
Yeah.
but when I hear your new album, I mean, every song is a hit. It's more rock.
Yeah.
It's more rock, but it's definitely like you can play it like, as you can see it like a pop hit. But what is for you the most important thing to be more rock? So was that a reason to go back to the guitars and to the rock and roll stuff?
I don't think it was necessarily like a conscious reason, but I do like the reason I started to play music is because of the guitar. And for a lot of the new songs on that Rituals album, I wasn't playing guitar, I was just singing. And I just wasn't enjoying it as much. So yeah, for me it was a big thing to go back and like write songs that we really believe in. But it wasn't necessarily, we weren't really thinking about the genre. We weren't thinking if it's rock or pop. We were just thinking like, we need to just write songs that we believe in, which we did.
Yeah.
And the problems that you had before, like mental health or pandemic, maybe is it processing for you, the album? So now you feel more comfortable and to go out to play your concerts?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely helps work through things, being able to make music like that. Yeah.
It's like free therapy, kind of. It helps.
So how excited you are to play these songs live?
Yeah, very.
We
can't wait.
We've played like 4 shows already, and they were cool, but I'm just excited to go do like a tour.
Yeah.
One-off shows are weird, so as soon as we come on tour, I can't wait. But yeah, it's going to be good, I think.
And what was the difference for you? Now you're alone as a brother couple?
Yeah, the difference is we have 3 new, because we play as 5 people on stage, so we have 3 musicians who are like new musicians. So obviously, it takes a bit of time to get used to that, but it's really fun. It feels like fresh again, which is good.
Can you deal with your name, Def Havana? Because it's the name we had, the name. It's the same name like the last years.
Yeah.
So
I thought about changing it. I thought maybe we should change it, but there's so much. If we changed it, we'd have to start basically from the beginning again and work our way up, because
like the real feel of the songs just really felt to me like what this band should have always been like, really. And so it kind of felt just natural to carry on like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's very crazy that you have no contact to each other, and then you write something, and then your word is new, so you start from the ground. So it's a new start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the song 19 Dreams, it's your song, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's so crazy. You talked about to fit in something. So that you can't handle with a word, right? Or what does it? The context was not clear for me.
Yeah.
So, but it was very dark, and you talk about that you can't fit in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
So, can you say something about why do you feel like this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a part of my brain. I kind of feel very separate to a lot of things all the time. I guess you can look at upbringing and things like that, I guess. But yeah, and that's one of the it's feeling like that as growing up made like music a bit of a haven for me, and it's that's the sort of thing that I really wanted to get across on certain songs, and I hope we've kind of done that, because yeah, I mean that's that sort of emotional connection of feeling less alone through music is something that I absolutely love, and like, you know, that for me is kind of the peak of what you can aspire to achieve. So I hope we've, I don't know, gone even anywhere close to that.
Okay. And what is your favorite song from the album? So do you have one song that you want to play for every time in the next years?
My favorite song is a song called Someone Somewhere. It's track 7. It's really weird. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the record because it's like a dance song. And then we got this band called Ida, who are 2 girls, to come and sing on it, and it just,
Yeah, they're amazing. I
they're
saw
so
them
good.
live.
Yeah,
they're
so
great.
good. So, and it's just a weird song. Like Matty wrote this piece of music, and he's just said, "Can you basically just write like a poem to go over this?" So I wasn't thinking about like, is it catchy? Does it sound like? Does it have a good chorus? I was just writing like lyrics. So it's not like a massive song. I just really love it. I think it's my best lyrics I've ever written.
Is it your first time that you be yourself as a musician on this album?
It feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, it took so long to achieve, but
Well, I think it's partly like just growing up a bit, getting older, and so as a result, you know, you can get a bit more like confident in yourself, I guess, because you just know yourself a bit better. So.
definitely.
So many people say that your sound is like Sam Fender or Bruce Springsteen.
I'd say Sam Fender sounds like we used to.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that?
Well,
I'd take it.
we love Bruce Springsteen, and although I wasn't influenced by Sam Fender because he came around afterwards, I do love Sam Fender.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he is influenced by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great comparison.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any inspiration?
I mean,
Or maybe a guilty pleasure? Maybe do you hear in your private way Britney Spears or something else?
I definitely have guilty pleasures, but to be honest, they're not that guilty. I'm not that.
There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure, just pleasures.
Yeah. Like, but you said the main one. Like, Bruce Springsteen is a massive influence for me in terms of like storytelling, songwriting. Guilty pleasure is like really bad Latin American pop music, like reggaeton, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, that's my guilty pleasure. I love it.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just I'm really influenced by the way, or like really inspired by the way that Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails just just makes the way he builds music and uses different soundscapes and is constantly just having a song. There's always movement basically in every section, which is like, there's so many more layers on this record that are just little, obviously it doesn't sound like 9 Inch Nails, but there's little bits that I just love that I've, you know, channeled my constantly listening to them through. But guilty pleasures, Venga Boys, I think, isn't it?
Oh, it's not a guilty pleasure.
guilty pleasure.
That's my point.
It's so good.
So you talk about problems. So you did real talk on this album. I mean, I love that because I think every person has to talk about real shit. So do you have a message to your fans and with your album? What is your wish for the next for the next steps, for the next future?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, our main wish is just that people enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it. But I do have a specific request that applies to German fans. Please buy our record.
Yep.
Please come and see us, because
Yep.
we just want to move to Germany
Yep.
and just become big in Germany
Yep.
because we love it. So please come and see us on tour, and please buy our record.
Is there many difference now on that tour? Because you have, it's a new start, you have a new band. So is there a change?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, we play some of the songs very differently than we used to. I mean, it just feels a bit more fun now than it was before, which is cool.
Yeah, well, I've actually started practicing, so I'm just better.
Yeah,
is what I would say. Yeah.
Nice. And my favorite song of your album is Kids.
oh,
Awesome.
thanks.
And you would talk about your childhood. It's very private. And what does it mean for you to sing about your childhood?
It's very. I mean, obviously, it's very nostalgic, but our childhood was kind of weird. We moved around a lot, and we always lived in like weird, remote places in England. So there's not really that much to write about. So I write a lot about like my teenage years, like my high school years. So that's what Kids is really about. But yeah, I think it's something that most people can relate to, so it's a good thing to write about.
Nice. That's so emotional. So sorry. When I hear your album, it was like, oh, nice. They're talking so clearly about the problems, and in many ways, I saw my childhood. So I compare it. So it's definitely very nice to see that bands like you feel the same.
Yeah,
so I think
of course.
That's the best of your album.
Yeah,
it will be very nice.
Thank you.
I mean, so and. Yeah, we can talk about more about Present is a Foreign Land. So do you have plans for the next tour? Like, do you play with something big, or do you have a wish to play with someone?
I don't know. Like, we currently only have 2 tours booked, which is one in Germany and one in the UK. But I would love to do like support tours with bigger artists, but it's just whatever. I don't know what is happening, but hopefully we can next year. But I think this year is going to be mainly headline tour for our album.
Yeah, and the last years, with your you deal with many problems. So is there a change for you now? Do you deal in another way with your problems? Because now you're a band, you can't talk to each other the next 2 years, so you have to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I've got a much more like adult relationship with, like, if I feel bad, instead of just drinking myself into oblivion, I will talk about it and work out why. You know, I spent a lot of time in therapy. That's fun. But you know, it all helps. It's part of just, you know, growing up and trying to cope, I guess.
Yeah, nice. So we hopefully see you in the future.
Definitely.
Hope so.
We want. And in the pandemic, you were you didn't talk to each other, and how did you deal with the problems in the pandemic? So what did you do? I feel like everyone obviously had a lot going on because it was just so different, and I just kind of, I had quite a lot going on at home at that point in time, and so I was just, I didn't really think about anything else. I just was, I felt like I was just busy, looking after what I could.
I enjoyed it, to be honest. I don't really...
The silence.
Yeah, it was so nice. I mean, obviously it was crazy and it wasn't nice. It was terrible. But like, where I live in London, all the trees started to grow back again because there was less cars, there was less pollution. Like, the world kind of was silent for a bit.
Here's the other one. I've completely forgotten that, actually. I really enjoyed being able to just be like, well, what am I going to do today? I'm just going to watch TV all day, and that's it.
Yeah, I miss that so
and every day.
many times.
And like, because like now I'm like, I've got to actually sort shit out and do things, and you know, just deal with everyday life. Whereas everyday life was like, probably get a takeaway and watch a film again, shall we? And it's great.
So now you have new hobbies.
Yeah, like just that, but less.
Running.
Yeah, running. Boring.
So, I mean, many personalities changed in that times. So we all had to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
But now we have a very, very nice album of your band. We are very excited. And I mean, so this album is very, very dark and positive. And do you have plans for the next album? So you wrote it in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So maybe you wrote another album for the next years?
Yeah, we've written 5. No,
5?
No, I'm kidding.
Not
I'm kidding. We've got some songs already, and we've got like a bunch of ideas that are coming along because we don't want to have another year without speaking to each other to then get an album at the end of that. Like we're definitely making sure we're going to be releasing music more often and sooner. We don't want to leave a big gap again.
But I don't think we could write another album in 3 weeks because I think that was just like a combination of
that is so
everything.
Crazy.
It was.
I think we just left songwriting to a point where they kind of like had to just. They like popped out.
Yeah, there was no pressure, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, there was no pressure. But we do have some new songs, and we do have plans to just continue to write. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a new music
before too long.
Yeah.
But do you want to have the same sound, or do you want to change something to be more big and more big?
I'm not going to think about actively changing a sound. I don't think if a song starts coming out a certain way and the song's great, then it will sound like that. But regardless of what the genre is, but we've definitely been a bit guilty before of going, this this is what the sound people will want to hear. Let's do that.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
I mean, it probably works for some people, but it didn't work for us. And that's not how I want to do things, I don't think.
Yeah.
And what is your motivation to be here, to be a musician, to go on tour with this album?
Yeah, just as lame as it sounds, just to be like a true musician again, instead of feeling like a fake for so many years. I just want to be like an honest musician who plays like real songs. But also, I would like to be able to. It'd be great if I could like make a living out of this and keep doing it. But I don't know. I'm happy now just playing music, to be honest, and I believe in this album a lot.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really nice. So do you can you say something about this album? So in one sentence, why should the listeners hear your new album, The Present is a Foreign Land?
How do I say this without sounding arrogant?
Nothing is arrogant. You can say everything.
Some things are arrogant. No.
Because I truly believe it's the best thing we've ever done, and it's really good. It's the first record I've ever made that I'm proud of.
Yeah, and we put a lot of us into it, I think, and so I think you can kind of hear that in the music, and it means an awful lot to us, so I hope it can mean an awful lot to anyone who could listen to it.
Yeah.
And how did you decide on this record, the tracks, like, I don't know in English.
The track list.
Yeah, the track list.
Yeah. We think quite a lot about that. Like
I love that aspect. I love being able to work out what should go where, because I do think there is always a right order. There's like
it's so interesting.
I find there's like a natural way where like songs can obviously be great in and of themselves, but they can mean so much more if they're put in a certain order, where it just kind of builds and flows and comes up and then goes back down again. And once we got like 4 or 5 demos together, I started realizing where I thought they should go, and we kind of then wrote to a track listing idea, which is sounds quite strange, but as a result we never like even had a discussion about it. It was just constantly from the day we went into the studio we had
2 songs around.
Yeah, but I love that aspect of things. I just love knowing that, like, when you say buy a vinyl or something and you listen to it on a record, they've thought about which order you're meant to hear the music, and I respect that. I'm not pressing shuffle, like.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm asking, because I love vinyl and to hear vinyl, and that's very important for me to hear the songs directly.
How they were.
Yeah, and the track list, and it's so interesting what the bands will say about it.
Yeah.
Why did they decided to put that track after that track?
And also, like, for me, I wanted the album to start at the lowest point, so like really kind of depressing, and then just get progressively more positive as it goes on. So by the end of the record, it's quite like uplifting and hopeful almost. But the first song is so like desperate and just like very low.
Like picking which song goes where, it gives you an opportunity to try and, oh my God, I'm going to sound so pretentious, to try and tell another story, really, like, and craft it into something else.
Yeah.
And The Present is a Foreign Land. What does it mean so for you?
Well, for me, I came up with it as a sentence to kind of just explain or kind of describe to myself, really, like just how I feel getting through everyday life. I often feel so uncomfortable and confused by things which I don't feel should be confusing. And like, I find myself feeling really alienated and just out of place a lot. And that sentence fit really well for me. And then, found its way into a song. And I quite liked it as a title, and we put it above everything, and it just kind of made all the other songs make a bit more sense. And I really enjoy that, or I really appreciate that, like, as I sit with it for longer and, like, say I can read the news or anything, it takes on even more of a slightly different meaning to me as well. Which I hope, other people can take something from it as well, if possible.
Yeah, that's a good, I can agree. That sounds very nice. And for you?
Yeah, same thing really. I spend every day kind of not really. I just feel like an alien. I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just feel like,
Look like an alien boy.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. I don't know. I just feel like kind of out of place, like he said. It just obviously, when I play music, it makes me feel like I belong somewhere. But other than that, I kind of just don't really know what I'm doing. So I think it means that. But it also applies to everything, like particularly the pandemic, because every day we were just completely lost. We had no idea what was happening. We didn't expect this. We didn't prepare for this. So every day was kind of like a new challenge, really. So it can apply to anything, I think.
But it's so nice that you felt so fucking bad, and now you're staying in front of a moderator and talk about your new fucking album. So
and it's the best album.
Yeah,
it's the best one we've done.
And maybe you have to wait the next years. Maybe one more.
Maybe.
So maybe.
That's the hope.
That's the hope. Well, the hope is we can get big in Germany.
That is true.
And then we can just come back here all
To
the
be
time.
fair, if I spend any amount of time in Germany, I will get big, because the amount of food I've been eating since I've been here
I'm
is
eating so
fucking
much
insane.
food.
So is Germany so important for you, right?
Ever since we first were a band, like years ago,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever toured in Germany. Nobody knew who we were, but everybody at the music venue just treated us really nicely. They gave us food, gave us beer. It was just really respectful. Whereas in England, like people treat you like shit. Honestly, even still
Really?
now. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very different.
I just find German people way more respectful in every aspect. So I just and it's a beautiful country.
And we are very conservative sometimes.
But in a good way, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But like even things like when we've done support tours in Germany, we have managed to get like so much more of the headline audience will watch us than happens in like England, because in England, if you go to a show, the support band's on and you go, right, that's my excuse to sit in the bar and drink, and then you hear the opening notes of the song you like when the headline act come on, you go, come on boys, let's go over there. Whereas every time we've been,
everyone is celebrating.
Yeah,
that's true. But in Germany, I feel like you care a lot more about music. Like in England, everyone's just so concerned about what is cool, whereas here people like
and also what's
music.
new.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
We are fucking nerds on Rock Antenne.
But that's so good.
Love
though.
it. I love it.
That's how it should be, because
I'm a nerd. That's how I got into music.
Yeah,
like to
that's
be an
why
absolute music nerd.
Yeah, I love it.
So what does rock for you mean? You can say one sentence.
I think just like freedom of speech and just being inclusive of everyone.
Rock for me is it's always evolving.
Yeah.
I think, and so it's about like taking in different influences and just kind of because I don't know. And also just being great. So
Yeah, I mean, rock is a feeling.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's not like
it's not like a. It's like a attitude, a mentality. It's not really a genre.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.